Over the past week or so, I've had a ton of compliments on my new YouTube setup, so I figured why not make a video showing you exactly what I do for my YouTube videos. We're going to take a look at everything from the microphones that I'm using to the lighting, all of that stuff so that you can see what I'm using. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure that you are aware. Start with what you have and where you're at. Don't feel like you've got to spend a bunch of money to upgrade and buy all this stuff, because until recently, I didn't have any of this stuff. Until recently, I was using a webcam, and then I upgraded to a Canon M50, and I was using this microphone right here. So start with what you have, start with where you're at, and then upgrade over time. Okay, that's first and foremost. Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about everything that I use to create a YouTube video. The first thing that I use, first and most important thing, is probably this smartphone. Yes, this is an iPhone, and I use it for two reasons. One, I am using it to see myself. I'm using an app called Monitor, so I can actually see the output. And I use it to take all of my thumbnails. So if you ever see my thumbnails, that's me just using this phone and then transferring it right over into my computer. But that is first and foremost. The second thing that I use is obviously the camera. Now, if we take a look at my screen here, this is the camera that I purchased. It is the Sony Alpha 7R4 full frame wireless interchangeable lens 61 megapixel. I've had a ton of compliments about the camera until recently. Like I said, I was using a Logitech webcam. I'd actually been using that Logitech webcam for like maybe 4 years. I just recently switched. It's expensive, and I actually bought the wrong one. I didn't mean to buy this one. I bought this one on accident. There is a slightly different version of this camera that I purchased. I wound up getting this one. The camera quality looks great. It gives me that nice blurry background that I really, really like. And so that's what I have, okay? Before we keep going, I have a link to all of the products. It's in my Amazon store. It's one of the links in the description. Feel free to take a look at anything that I'm talking about. There'll be direct links. Obviously, there are affiliate links, but I want to keep reiterating. Don't feel like you have to buy all of this stuff to create a YouTube video. You don't have to buy all this stuff to create a YouTube channel. So now that we have that camera, let's talk about the camera lens, because the camera lens is really what's responsible for this beauty of a background, okay? The camera lens is what really gives me this blurry background thing, and until 2-3 months ago, I had no idea about all of this stuff. This is the camera lens. It has a Sony FE 50mm f1.8 standard lens. Now, what makes the black background blurry is this F number. The lower the F number, the more blurrier the background. I mean, that's it. This is one of the least expensive lenses that you can bolt on to this camera. And so I went with it. I actually really, really like it. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about is, let's talk about the lighting. I really, really like the lighting. And with the lighting, it comes in two parts. It has this front light here, and then it has the back light. Let me show you what the lighting looks like without anything being lit. So let me show you in complete darkness. So this is what it looks like. I just have my monitor on. This is what it looks like when nothing is lit up. And the cool thing is I'm actually controlling all of this with a smartphone. Now, once the lighting is lit up, we can see it looks much more illuminated. So let's talk about the first component, which is this front piece here. Now, this is called the Aperture 300D2 Mach 2, or Aperture 300D Mark II, however you want to pronounce it. Now, I really like this front light because there's a variety of options, okay? I can actually adjust the dimming curves. I don't know anything about this stuff, okay? Before we keep going, I want to shout out a guy by the name of Abeloante Phillips. I've known him for a long time, and he said to me last month or 2 months ago, he's like, bro, you got to upgrade your YouTube setup. And at the time, I didn't think it was important. I didn't think it was really that big of a deal, but people seem to like it, so shout out to him. But getting back to this lighting. Now, the cool thing about this lighting is right now it's set to 18 and the dimming is exponential. I don't really know what any of this means. It just kind of looks cool. So I can adjust this, and you can see it gets dimmer, or it gets brighter. If I go back down to 18, it makes it kind of dark in the front, and then I might actually adjust that a little bit more like that. But then I can also change the way how bright it looks. So if we go like this, you can see that's really bright, and probably not the best setting for me. I can go back to the other one, and I think I might change this down. Now, I had these dialed in, so I'm gonna have to go do some work in order to get these looking right again. So the rest of this video might be too dark. We'll find out very soon. But that's this light, okay? It's the Aperture 300D. I got it on Amazon. You can get it too. And I want to keep reiterating, don't feel like you've got to run out and buy this stuff. Upgrade over time. Okay, so that's the front light. The front light has this Aperture light dome, which actually helps with how it looks on me. Without it, it would just be like a straight bright light. But this really helps out with the way that it looks. So again, this is called the Aperture Light Dome SE35. I had a softbox before. I really can't tell the difference, but hey, it looks cool. Next, let's talk about the backlight. So I'm just going to turn those lights off, let you see what it looks like without the backlights. Now I've got 2 of them. I don't know that I really need 2 of them. So that's the one that's off. And let's turn off the other one like this. So that's what it would look like without the lights. Now these lights are called the Aperture Animaran T2. Now, they're basically a longer version of these, which I was using for a while. And the same thing is I can adjust how bright they are. So again, this is set at 19. Let me turn on both of them. These are set at 19 and I can adjust it. So right now this is 19. If I go all the way up to 100, you can see it's a little bit brighter, but I really like the 19. Let's see, go back there to 19 like this. And I think that looks really cool. Now, the other cool thing about this is I can adjust the light temperature. I can adjust the hue and the saturation. It has a million colors on here, and I'm actually controlling all of this with the smartphone. Again, I want to keep reiterating, don't feel compelled to have to buy this stuff. I've got 2 of them because my setup was a little bit different. Now that I'm using this different camera, I really only need 1 of them, but I've got 2 of them up and running just in case. So that is my lighting. That's the front light and then the 2 back lights. I think it looks really cool. If we continue on, the next thing that I'm using is a camera tripod. The thing that I really like about this tripod is I can adjust the distance, and so it can actually give it a different look and feel. I've got this adjusted and set up. Not much you can say about it, but it's simply it's a camera tripod. The next thing that I'm using is I'm actually using a Mac Studio. I really like the Mac Studio. It's basically Mac's version of the desktop. It has 1 terabyte, and so I'm actually just, I can load and do a bunch of work. It exports my completed files quickly. I love it. Okay. It's one of the things that I use every single day. If you were thinking about upgrading something, the first thing I recommend is upgrading your desktop or laptop, simply because it can help save time. With rendering and you're doing video editing and maybe you've got 20 tabs open like I do, having something that's relatively new as far as a desktop or even a Mac will save you time and save you frustration. Now, again, I'm going to keep saying it. Start with where you are. If you can't afford to upgrade your desktop, that's fine. Okay. Start with what you have. Use it until you can upgrade, and upgrade over time. Don't just run out and buy all this stuff. Upgrade over time, okay? After the Mac Studio, we have this globe. Hopefully you can see the globe over my left shoulder. This globe is a really cool globe. I'm actually gonna grab it. This globe is one of the coolest things that I've ever done for my business, okay? It allows me to see you as a human and not just a number. I feel like a lot of YouTubers will see a view as a view and not necessarily a person. And so when I decide to make a video, I'm thinking about the person that lives in Kiev, Ukraine, or that person that lives in Nepal, or one of the other many countries that people are checking in from. So that's really important to me. And I look at that globe every single day. And I really do put the pins on, and I'm actually running out of pins, so I got to buy more. But that globe is one of the really cool things that I did for my business. And I recommend you do it too. If you're looking to grow a community, if you're looking to grow an online business, ask people where they're from, because it's a really easy way for them to connect with you. And you can see them as real people and not just a number, not just a view. Oftentimes you'll see YouTubers talk about how their views are low, but really everybody that watches my videos is really important to me, because I know that there's someone over in a different part of the country, different part of the world, that is trying to solve a problem for them and potentially their family. So everybody that has ever commented with their city, state, zip code, all that good stuff, I appreciate it. You're not just a view to me. You are a person, and you have contributed greatly to this community. So thank you once again. After the globe, let's go ahead and talk about the next thing, which is the microphone that I'm using. This microphone right here. This is called the Warm Audio WA47 Junior. It is an XLR microphone. Basically what an XLR microphone is supposed to be a higher quality of a USB microphone. Now I've used this USB microphone, this Blue Yeti X, for years and it served fine, but I wanted to upgrade my audio and I was able to do that. When you use an XLR microphone, it has to go into a special box. That special box that I'm using is the Focusrite Scarlett 212 third generation. Now what you do is you plug this into your XLR microphone and then you plug this box into your computer via USB, and that actually helps you dial in and make better audio. After that, we have the Rode microphone. Now, I actually use two different audio setups. I have these Rode wireless microphones too. This one sits right at the front of my desk here and I can talk right into it. The receiver is actually attached to the computer. Now, there's a couple reasons why I have two audio. One, if for whatever reason one fails, for example, the battery dies on this Rode microphone, I've got a backup. And two, most importantly, I can use the two audios to auto sync. Right now, the Warm is connected to my desktop. I'll have to download this audio file and then upload it to Premiere Pro, which we'll talk about in a second. And then I can automatically do a synchronization, which we have over on Premiere Pro, which will allow me to quickly sync them together without having to clap or, kind of do something weird like you had to do back in the day. But I have both of them set up, and if for whatever reason my audio fails, I have that backup. But really, really cool. Now, the other thing that I use, which I've talked about a few different times, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it up, but it's called ScreenFlow. ScreenFlow, up until recently, was how I shot my videos. It's how I video edited everything, and I uploaded it to YouTube. The really cool thing with ScreenFlow is that it will allow you to record your screen. There's a component for your microphone. It could do everything, and it saved me time. Once again, Avalonce said, hey, you need to upgrade your YouTube style. Now that you are a real YouTuber, you need to upgrade your YouTube style. And now I use Premiere Pro for my video editing. Now, when it comes to Premiere Pro, a few things that I use something called LUTs, LUTS, and LUTs will allow you to change what the camera outputs. So right now you're gonna see me maybe in black and white. I haven't decided the color that I'm gonna change it to, but LUTs allow you to make that change. Premiere Pro also allows you to put text on the screen. It allows you to do motion graphics. It allows you to do really a lot of stuff in the, I guess, post-editing. Guys, one thing you gotta know about me, I don't know a lot. I'm not classy. I don't know a whole lot of terminology. It is just, you figure out a workflow, you keep doing it. Maybe you'll improve something over time, but you just keep working at it. But that's it. That is the entire thing. And I want to stress, start with where you are. When I first got started, I was using the webcam that I use on my live streams, and I was using a Blue Yeti X. And then eventually I upgraded to the Canon M50. And then I upgraded to these lights that I guess I don't use anymore. And then only within the last few months, I decided to go crazy and buy all sorts of stuff for this. So if you have questions about this setup, leave them in the comment section below. But once again, thank you very much, guys, for watching. Check out this video next because YouTube says it will help you grow your online business.